Annika Smethurst, I'll share with what's happening with me. But let's start with Annika. The News Corp political reporter copped a knock on the front door today. It was the Australian Federal Police calling. The AFP wanted to speak to Annika about an exclusive story that she broke a year ago that was, without doubt, in the public interest. The story by Annika Smethurst said that the Defence and Home Affairs ministers were in fact discussing radical new espionage powers that would see Australia's cyber spy agency monitor Aussie citizens. And this would be a first. So you can understand why Annika Smethurst and News Corp decided to run with this story. The plan would see text messages, emails and bank accounts of everyday Aussies, you and me and anyone else, that would be basically accessed secretly by the Australian Signals Directorate. Now, the scoop included images of top-secret letters between high-level officials in Home Affairs and Defence. The government didn't comment on the leak at the time. So Annika Smethurst was at home preparing to leave for work this morning when several AFP officers arrived with a warrant from an ACT magistrate giving them authority to search her home, her computer and her mobile phone. Annika complied with the request and declined to answer questions apart from confirming her identity. Now, the timing of this raid is interesting to me because only yesterday afternoon I found out I was potentially facing a similar raid. Why? Well, yesterday on 2GB and Sky News, I shared information I received about boats coming to Australia from Sri Lanka. I told you that a source in Home Affairs had told me they were investigating up to 6 boats in play between the two countries, some of which may have already been disrupted. That was it. I mean, it was hardly Watergate stuff, but still, it included information that was deemed to be highly confidential from Home Affairs. So while I was on radio yesterday, about an hour after we shared the information, my producer, Zach McLean, received a call from the Department of Home Affairs. The official told us the information we'd shared was the result of an unauthorised disclosure of information. In other words, we weren't supposed to know it. We were told that the Department of Home Affairs will investigate this disclosure and they would like me to assist that investigation. Last night I filled in hosting the Bolt Report on Sky News, and afterwards I spoke to senior officials from Home Affairs and they explained to me, very politely I might add, that it's their job to protect information like this. It was highly confidential. It was only supposed to be seen by a handful of people, and it should not have been passed on to me. That's what they told me last night when they were in contact with me. Now, I want to say again, the conversations I had with Home Affairs were at all times respectful, and they did not place pressure on me to reveal my sources. I was told by Home Affairs that I'm not the target of this investigation. It's about the people who are supposed to keep this stuff confidential. I put it to them that there's a chance this information was shared with me by mistake, as opposed to someone deliberately causing mischief, but they were not buying that as an excuse. It was explained to me that only a limited number of people had access to the information we broadcast, and the department can look at all of their call records as part of their investigation. This morning I was contacted again by a senior official at Home Affairs telling me, and I quote, "The department has initiated an unauthorised disclosure investigation which could lead to an AFP criminal investigation and subsequent prosecution. You are not the target of said investigation. That's not how a democracy rolls." End quote. So that's it. Annika Smethurst from News Corp raided today. Time will tell if I'm next. I'll be cleaning up the house just in case because Jody doesn't like it when people arrive and the house is a mess, so I'll clean up just in case. As for the question about whether or not I'll be revealing my sources, well, I can put it this way. There is not a hope in hell of that happening. And I'll say that again. The chances of me revealing my sources are zero. There's not a hope in hell of that happening, not today, not tomorrow, next week or next month. Under no circumstances will I be revealing my sources on this story or any story. Don't get me wrong. I understand why this investigation is taking place, and I respect that the people at Home Affairs have got a job to do, but I work in a business that's based on freedom of the press and shining a torch in areas where there are shadows. And it's not fair to the people who assist me with my work to give them up the moment the AFP comes knocking.